Welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back. Let's see if I can even turn this up just a little bit more than I usually have it turned up. So today, as you can see, I'm going to be using the Alleyman's Tarot, which is a deck that I bought through Kickstarter. They may have it available now for general purchase. Let's put it by. Sorry. Fuzz. I've been attacked by Fuzz. Sorry. Put out by the Publishing Goblin. And I did do an unboxing video about this deck, so you can find that on the channel. The cards come in what looks like a matchbox. We're going to be doing water sign energy in this video. And as you can see, it's a huge, huge pile of cards. Some of them are gilded on the edges. Maybe you can see that too. So, we will start with the water sign of Cancer. Cancer, 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 Cancer. If you want to go ahead and set your intention for the reading. And I'm just going to kind of mix the cards up. And then we'll get into the reading. Go ahead, set an intention. Start thinking about what you've come here for today. Have you come for enlightenment? Are you experiencing particular issues in your existence right now? Or are you just curious to see what lies ahead? Go ahead and think about it a little bit and allow your mind to wrap itself around those thoughts and ideas. And I'm just going to shuffle the cards a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm just going to shuffle the cards a little bit. I'm going to do the readings this week, and especially because we'll be using this deck, be doing the readings a lot more having to do with free association, and work in some aspects of path working. And I probably won't be reading reversals or focusing on reversals that way. We have our initial first three cards to look at. And what we have here me put the timestamp almost forgot. I almost forgot the timestamp. That's much better. That's much better. Is the storyteller. Quite an interesting character indeed. So this person, they look a bit moldy. Do they look trustworthy? Are they the storyteller because they tell very elaborate and entertaining stories? How much truth is there to what is recorded by their psyche? You notice how they have their coat open in this very clandestine manner. In fact, it's a scroll. Is it tucked inside their coat? It looks like they're kind of opening up the side of their coat, and the scroll is inside. You feel is appropriate. In addition, Cancer, we have the Hermit and we have the Ace of Wands. So the Hermit is a card about isolation, self-imposed isolation, meant to allow room for enlightenment. That Ace of Wands is about the power and the potency that you bring to situations. The Hermit does have a staff. So even though the Hermit is aligned with the mutable earth sign of Virgo, as we can see depicted right here, there is still that element of power. Similarly, a connection between and potentially also the storyteller. How incredibly frustrating that my connection would be unstable at this time. If I have to start over, I will. I do have my Ethernet cable, but I don't think that's the problem. So there's a certain power to controlling your narrative. Privacy is power, Cancer. And notice how these figures are solitary control over your own narrative at this time by isolating yourself potentially. And that there are positive aspects to we have the Star card coming out. Groups. Oh, hi Flags. It's good to see you. Thank you for coming by. I'm very well. How are you? The Star card is about hopes and dreams coming true. So that could be part of this Ace of Wands, that we're putting things into action now that are going to take us in that direction. The Star card can also have to do with social groups and the energy that you pour into your social groups in order to get the result of your hopes and dreams coming true. Oh, yes, I do remember you. I thought it might be you. It's good to see you again. Thank you for coming. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about that. Were you very close to your grandfather? Looks like you have created a bit of separation between yourself and your social groups so that you can control the narratives that are being promoted there about your particular situations. I can't give you control of the situation, but I can ask you a lot of questions about it. Questions that will make things much clearer. Oh, wow. Well, I'm very sorry that he's passed. And congratulations on your job. What is the purpose overall for Cancer to control this narrative? What end does it serve? The High Priestess, keeping secrets, keeping your knowledge safe, balancing being the storyteller versus being the hermit. That indeed is the energy of the High Priestess. This is a lunar energy as well, very cyclical, but not necessarily cynical. The Star and the High Priestess are both fairly passive receptive energies. The Star being Aquarius, which is air sign, but on the card itself is depicted a sky-clad woman. Okay. So now we have this balancing energy of the King of Swords. So we've got these active cards here in this deck. Because this King of Swords has come out, we will see that this Star card in particular is a more active energy through that air sign association. So there's a certain amount of movement here, the energy being put into the hopes and dreams coming true. We have this King of Swords. This can be Libra energy, but it can also be about your level of discernment and the ways in which you cultivate your mental space specifically. So what is it that Cancer needs to work on in this particular time in regards to this situation overall? Interesting. All right. This is a lot like the Eight of Wands. And the wands themselves have been set up kind of like a ladder ascending to heaven. The wands also look like a xylophone sort of configuration, right? So there's an ending that's going to be coming in. This ending is going to lead to an ascension process. We don't have the Judgment card coming out, so not necessarily like that. But the Lover's card. So this is the precursor to the Ascension. That Lover's card has to do with duality. You can see these two figures being very emotionally close to each other as well. There could be something about emotional closeness with another person, or potentially needing to end emotional closeness with another person in order to reach that ascension process. Tell me more specifically about this situation. Is this an ending? Is there someone helping? We have a lot of air sign energy in the reading. This card keeps coming out. 6 of Wands. Victory. So because we have the 8 of Wands being clarified by the 6 of Wands, we can also look at this as the 2 of Wands in association with this Lover's card. So we're looking at the Lover's card in the context of the planning process, the dualities that are there, the reconciling of the profane and the sacred, and the angel coming to warn about what lies ahead. That also is going to have a common vein with this High Priestess. The High Priestess and the 2 of Wands having similar energies of the planning, the secrets, the information that you hold, Cancer. And let's get a final 3 for your reading. The outcome for Cancer in this particular situation. We have the 7 of Swords, this giddy figure making off with all this weaponry. Can be about betrayal, can be about underhanded dealings, or getting one over on somebody. We have the Tower card too. This one called the House of God. So in this particular case, there is a destructive ending being brought in because of some kind of underhanded dealings, things not being made clear. And the final card that we have in your reading is the Queen of Strays. This is cat sign energy. No, I'm just kidding. So it's a very feline energy, a feminine energy. It would depend on your relationship with cats. How do you see cats? Especially stray cats. How do you know a cat is stray? Is it because they don't wear a collar? Lots of cats don't wear a collar. Is it because it's dirty and grungy? Sometimes a stray can belong to the whole neighborhood, right? That would be the Queen of Strays. And perhaps that is the kind of energy that you're bringing to situations at this time, Cancer. That you're able to keep your separateness, your independence, just like that Queen of Strays. And that is going to keep you safe. That is going to bring a destructive end to these areas of your life where you've dealt with people who didn't have your best interests at heart. But it will be a very victorious end for you, but there might be some things involved in it. You have very good cards. So you had like that 8 of Wands, you had the 6 of Wands. So very positive ending for you, Cancer. So where this destructive power is going to come in is where these people have brought it upon themselves. And through your independence. Oh, hi Juan. Thank you for coming. It's good to see you today. I hope that my connection is watchable. It keeps telling me that my connection's unstable, but it hasn't stopped streaming, so I'm going to keep going, and hopefully it will clear up. I can try plugging in my Ethernet cable for the next video, but sometimes that doesn't help. So that is going to conclude the Cancer reading for this week. We're going to move on now to the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio. Going to move on to the sign of Scorpio. And Scorpio, if you would like, go ahead and set your intention for the reading. Allow any thoughts or ideas surrounding what you've come to the reading for today to rise to the forefront of your mind. Think about things going on in your life. Maybe you want to know about opportunities that'll be coming in for you. Maybe there's somebody who's caught your eye. You want to know if that person is a good potential partner, a good candidate. Maybe you are getting ready for the Super Bowl. It's quite a ways away. It's never too early to start planning the perfect Super Bowl party. I'm not particularly fond of American football, but I do like a good Super Bowl party. Superb owl. All right, Scorpio, let me put down your timestamp. And we can get started. What do we have here? We've got one of the jokers coming out. The Joker can be a bit like the Fool card, but it doesn't have to be. The Jester was one of the only members of the court who could critique the king without fear of repercussion, although there's always the potential for repercussion. An entertainer with the power of satire. We have weird ass mystical shit. I believe this is an arcane bullshit card. we have the wheel here. We've got a lotus here. We've got a mountain with an eye and some horns on it and some hands and the head. So together, we have this harp player, this entertainer, seated under the moon, and some mystical things going on as well. So Scorpio, you might be working on something related to entertainment at this time, and it may also have occult aspects to it, or things to do with your magical practice. Practice makes perfect after all. And we have the very specific Hermit card coming out in this reading that has to do with infamy. The two aspects of this card for the upright and reversal are traitor and false devotion, right? So we're looking at an individual who may not have particularly positive aspirations toward others. This would be closer to the Seven of Swords than it would be close to the Hermit proper. Where we're looking at this in relation to things in entertainment and in the occult, there could be suspicions that you hold at this time regarding the people around you and their devotion to the shared cause, not necessarily their devotion to you, but their devotion to your common goals, shall we say. So to clarify, the traitor, the capuchin, I have the strength card. Now, strength is related to your fellow fixed sign, Leo. I have a tendency as a Leo sun sign to surround myself with Scorpios. They're just so fascinating. The strength card in this case having to do with your fortitude in the face of these traitorous behaviors and false devotion, especially where it's related to whatever mystical shit you've got going on. That's the thing about arcane bullshit, is that even though you can be dealing with some very heavy subject matter, there's always the lighter side of things, and there's a balance there to be struck. Just like how the Joker here, clearly an entertainer, a joker, not particularly funny looking, right? Definitely not wearing clown makeup. But somebody who, she might have a really good stand-up routine. You don't know. Can't tell by looking at her. You'll have to wait and see. And that's how a lot of performance is. That you can't see from the outside what it's going to be like until you actually watch the performance. And the strength for you in this situation, Scorpio, is going to have to do with your strength of character, your strength of will. How you're sitting alone on this rock, plucking gently at the harp. not overly concerned with who might be watching. Why is all of this of importance to Scorpio at this time? What is it that Scorpio should know about this situation? Pull some cards about that. Interesting. Okay. So we have the black moon. We have a rabbit leaving its warren in the dark of night. There's safety in that darkness. There is a particular, and we have the moon, very slim, depicted on this card of the Joker as well. That rabbit is a lot like that figure sitting on the rock. However, she is stationary, but she is looking in the water as though something could be lurking. She's looking off to the one side, but her foot is dangling off the other side of the rock. The black moon could be a lunar eclipse. It could be the dark part of the lunar cycle. We will be having the new moon in Libra soon, I believe. When will that occur? Let me find out. And then, of course, we're not too far out from the new moon in Scorpio either. September 25th is the new moon in Libra. And the new moon in Scorpio is going to be October 25th. So September 25th to October 25th could be a very fertile time for you. And you would be taking part. I think a lot of people right now, because this just came up in the Cancer reading, right? A lot of people are kind of keeping what they are working on more tucked away, more hidden. It takes a certain amount of strength to balance that, to not need that validation. Yeah, the words that it says here on the card, it says self-mastery, control, discipline. And then the reversals would be insecurity, helplessness, and weakness. We have a coronation. This says 5 on it in the corner. So could be associated with institutional things similarly to the Hierophant. 5 is a number associated with Martian energy, which is a very active energy. There's an implication here, too, where this angel is pointing this arrow down into the crown and into the top of this person's head. Heavy is that head that wears the crown. There's a lot of responsibility that this figure is taking on. And it's almost crushing him. He doesn't, if you see that this figure is even slouching their shoulders a little bit because he has gotten so crouched down to the ground. Everything is kind of pushing down on him. But you will have the strength to hold it up. It's just that the combination of the time frame, the mystical shit, and the musical rehearsal and creativity, whether it's music or art, in the face of people who may or may not be on board with what you've got going on, can be a little daunting. You do have close friends around you. You have this card with the Three of Cups and these three cats sharing wine and stories and good times. The cups represent the emotional substance that they are sharing among themselves. So, where you may have many, or even if it's just a few very vocal people who are against you, you will have around you the people that you need for support. What is it that Scorpio needs to take away from this situation? What is the takeaway for Scorpio? The Four of Wands. This is an establishment. So the Four of Wands can be a card about things like marriage, buying a house, celebration. What it really represents is the building of the four walls of your idea of success, your manifestation. You're laying the cement, you're building the foundation for that success. And lightning in a bottle. This is the prima materia that you will be putting into this particular work. What do I need to know about that lightning in a bottle? What does Scorpio need to know about that lightning in a bottle? The Seven of Bells. Many voices. The seven voices is something in Gnosticism that refers to the seven vowels, and it was the seven original sounds that the Father caused you to issue forth by his command, his dynamis. Divine spark, divine inspiration will be coming to you at this time, Scorpio. Notice how this figure is almost kind of carved out of the scene. The way that perspective is used here on the side is very interesting. Such that that person is more of a receptacle than necessarily has substance themselves. Try out the different voices. See which ones fit together the best. That is going to conclude the want to mention that I will be using my spar for the crystal scrying today over on the members side of the channel. I do the crystal scrying and then I also open the floor for member readings as part of your channel membership. If that is something that interests you, you are cordially invited. But your participation in the channel, whether you are just viewing, you like, share, subscribe, click the little bell for notifications so you know when I'm going live, or even commenting in the live chat or on the videos, all of those things are so greatly appreciated. So let's move on now to that sign of Pisces. I'm going to pull a few cards, but if you want Pisces, go ahead and start thinking about what has brought you here today, what's going on in your life at this time that you'd like to address, bring some clarity to, that you would like to understand better or like to be able to convey better to others. What are some things that you could benefit from advice about? How would you like to proceed? How would you like to be seen, Pisces? How would you like to receive? You might have a project you're working on. You want advice. You might have a number of things going on. Okay, so I've got my first three, and I'll go ahead and put down the timestamp. Firstly, we have the Magician. So I can see that you are manifesting at this time something from which you are for which you are receiving infinite energy from Source. There's a great connection to Source between you and the divine at this time. Unlocking your power. This is a card that has a lot of active energy associated with it, but is also tied to the planet Mercury. Mercury is very swift moving, and its position in relation to the Earth is very well documented. It's one of the more easily visible planets. Because of that swift movement, it can be seen a lot like its namesake, to be a messenger of different things. I think there is a Mercury retrograde. Is that going on at this time? Yes, September 9th through October 2nd. But the retrograde doesn't necessarily mean that communications are going to be difficult or that things are going to be all messed up because of Mercury retrograde, like it gets a reputation for. More so, someone who is excelling and thriving in that power has that amplification of Mercury in Libra, I believe. For that manifestation. We have 2 8s. We have the 8 of Pentacles, and we have the Strength card. Sometimes Strength is 11. In this particular deck, Strength is 11 on this card. But can also be 8. Sometimes Strength and Justice switch. These are the 2 cards where the protagonist of the vignette is receiving divine energy directly from source. We've got a halo around the sky. We've got this lemniscate depicted in the lion's mouth. So I can tell that you are divinely guided and powered at this time, Pisces. That you have this energy coming directly to you. You could be feeling very powerful at this time. It could be a little disorienting sometimes. It's a very active energy. Strength is Leo's card in the major arcana. And this 8 of Pentacles. As you can see, this figure is carving these pentacles. There are several more here on the wall that are complete. We can tell this crafts person is very skilled. And here they are completing another pentacle. This would be something you've done for a long time. It could be something that has provided you with a livelihood or a retirement fund. It could be something where you've worked your way up the corporate ladder. It could even be several sources of income that you have managed to collect together over the years. What does Pisces need to know about this particular time and how to get the most out of it? It looks like you have a lot of dominion over your own particular existence, which is truly a blessing, especially in this time, Pisces. Deals in the dark. So there might be aspects coming up available to you at this time of risky propositions, risky investments, things that you're not able to completely suss out before you have to sign on the dotted line. Things that could be very good opportunities, but they could also be just someone taking advantage of you. Let's see what else we can find out about that. Ace of Cups. So there's an emotional renewal at this time. We can already tell that you're very connected to Source, and the Ace of Cups can speak to that as well. But where we're looking at this deals in the dark, you may feel invulnerable in a way that you haven't before, such that these very risky propositions that you might not have taken part in the past emotionally, now you feel equipped to do that. Likewise, on the back of the card, we have that figure 8, the lemniscate, coming up again, that we see on the Magician and on the Strength card. You're very connected to Source at this time, Pisces. And it has a lot to do with that 8 of Pentacles. Doesn't just have to be about like a day job or something. It could be something that you've done through practice for many, many years and potentially made money through it. But the 8 of Pentacles refers also to like your life's work. Oh, hi, Victoria. Yes, we're on Pisces right now. Thank you for coming. It's so good to see you. We do have the Death card coming out. So, scorpionic energies and transformations here. That specter, there really seems to be this delving into darker matters for you, Pisces, but only because you're able to come from a very healthy place emotionally. Perhaps in the past you were not ready to confront mortality. Perhaps in the past you didn't feel secure enough. And now you are better equipped. What does Pisces need to know about this, bringing this darkness into their situation? What does Pisces need to know about this dark energy? It doesn't seem necessarily bad. It's not a bad energy. It's just kind of dark, kind of transformative. What does Pisces need to know about that? I'll pull 5 cards about that. We'll start with these 3. So, the one of accordions. Accordion is a very cheerful kind of an instrument. Can be used in a melancholy way, for melancholy effect, but it's heavily associated with polkas, which are very upbeat, heavily associated with cheerful music. So perhaps the darkness is to provide a contrast. The best way to get certain things to stand out more is to provide a contrast for them. And if your work has been overwhelmingly positive up until this point, perhaps adding like this little flavor, something else, will give you the potential to create a more stark relief between those aspects, give it more meaning overall. We have the hand of the hunter. So, deals in the dark. We've got the hand of the hunter coming in to take part in these deals in the dark. There's a bit of a mercenary nature to your interaction with this energy. It's very transactional. Very transactional interaction with death. But even on this card, death is wailing and holding this figure, even as death is preparing to take that person. Or perhaps these are two loved ones separated by death. That is also possible. There could be elements of your own grief that you are processing at this time, Pisces, through whatever this is that represents your life's work. Whether it's an artistic endeavor, it could be any kind of job, really. And the way that you do it. Some of you could be something like antiques dealers, or you could be involved in selling items that you procure. And that's why we have this card coming out and the hand of the hunter, which also has to do with totems, connections, and faith. What are the totems that we have here? We have the accordion is showing up as a totem. Perhaps the lemniscate showing up as a totem. Excuse me. We also have the Queen of Pentacles. And here the Queen of Pentacles is shown feeding the family. This is water of earth energy. There are little bunny rabbits all over the back of this card. It's very lovely. It's a very warm energy. It's a very passive energy. It has to do with fertile proliferation of resources. So perhaps even rabbits as a totem. Accordions, rabbits, lemniscate. You could be advancing in this particular field of work in a way that solidifies your position therein as this Queen of Pentacles, Pisces. Let's round out the reading with these last two cards. So we have the Queen of Pentacles. We also have the Queen of Wands. These are two energies that you may be simultaneously embodying, Pisces. The Queen of Wands is a very warm, inviting energy. It's water of fire, so very balanced, very charismatic, very charming, sparkling conversationalist. Queen of Pentacles is also a very warm energy, but much more grounded. I'm really not getting a lot of darkness radiating from your energy specifically, Pisces, but I do think you are dealing with darker subject matter at this time. The final card that we have for your reading, drawn by the incomparable Micah Ulrich, we have death waiting for you at the bar, sipping on a bottle of poison and having a smoke. I think your communion with the divine at this time. There's something about it, Pisces, that is surrounding the idea of the cyclical nature of our soul energy, potentially death, or your own mortality is coming up a lot for you at this time, specifically in reference to your personal life's work. So that is going to conclude all of the water sign readings for today, this week. Those of you who are interested, I put watched it and I felt robbed that I hadn't seen it sooner. But whatever you think of the film is your personal opinion. I don't want to influence you unduly. I will be going now over to the members side of the channel to do the crystals crying. Until we meet again, I look forward to seeing you very